What's going on, guys? I'm Primalliquid, and as you all know, recently I have been redoing my setup. This is basically ranging from new desk, sorting out my shelves, moving everything around. It's been a colossal nightmare, to be honest. We've had problem after problem after problem, and originally I was gonna, like vlog the entire setup, like moving everything around and all that. I'm glad I didn't, because as I say, problem after problem after problem, so it was a little bit of a nightmare. But for the first time ever on this channel, actually, we are going to take a look at my complete setup. And also, I suppose, a little room tour. As you can see, it's small, but hey, we make do, right? This is the joys of living in the UK. So, with that said, let's start, shall we? And I think the most fun part that a lot of people will probably enjoy the most is the actual gaming setup behind me. Now, one thing to keep in mind, okay, is there is still some moving around being done. There is still, a lot of things left to be put away and all that sort of stuff. So there is still a little bit of a mess around, apologies, but it will all be cleaned up, I just wanted to get this video done, even if everything is not totally perfect, because let's be honest, we're all human, and most of us will settle for good enough. So, let's do it. Okay, so straight off the bat, this is the new desk, and yeah, maybe I should have made the bed. Oh well. This is the new desk. The entire tabletop is 220 centimeters long, and it's 80 centimeters wide. The width is basically kind of the same as you would expect from a normal computer desk. The length, a little bit more than you would typically expect, but hey, it does me great. And of course, I did get the light lifting desk frame, just because it is so much better for me, and that's coming off again. But yeah, now I can actually sit, stand, do everything I need to do without really having to worry about general health. And of course, cable management. It's not perfect, but at least we don't have cables trailing along the floor, right? So I think I deserve at least half credit for that, even if it's not super pretty under the desk. Right, let's start over on the left side, shall we? So, first of all, we do have the consoles. We got the PS3 at the far back there. I know it's a little dark in this corner, apologies. The light is all the way on that side of the room. But we have the PS3, we have the PS5, we've got the PS4, and then just behind the PS5 right here, this is an HDMI splitter with HDCP removal. Just don't tell anybody I have that. They are kind of technically illegal, but what that does is that allows me to go from the PS3 into that with an HDMI, and then that basically allows me to record HDMI from the PS3. The only other way of doing it is with sort of like composite cables and stuff like that, and my current Elgato does not allow for that, so we had to get that. And then obviously we've got the Nintendo Switch there. Ignore the shavers, that's just like Wheel of Pain stuff, that's there just because like every now and again I have to shave everything off, which kind of sucks, but hey oh, there we are. And of course, little little USB dongle, just for whenever I need to plug something in, easy access, all that sort of stuff. Then, let's take a look at the actual streaming equipment, shall we? So we have two of the Elgato key lights. Realistically, I probably should only have one of these. Like, what I really should do for proper lighting is have that one sort of over here, like sort of right next to the actual camera, where the camera goes. Ideally, it would be right behind it, but again, with the width of the desk, it doesn't really allow for, proper light placement. Then we have the one over here. This one, realistically, is more of a side light. And ideally, it would be, over here. But again, it was sort of getting in the way of things, so we just had to make do with where it is, pretty much. Which, kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And then, realistically, for the best lighting possible, okay, I would have another light called a backlight, essentially where I am right now. So, sort of behind where I sit, And that would essentially just sort of point down onto the back of me to give me, you know, good shadows and stuff like that, and just highlight me in the actual camera frame. But there's no space. Like, I have, where I'm standing from where the desk is to where the shelves are, there is probably about a meter worth of space here. And then obviously, you know, I have to still get to my bed and all stuff like that. So we can't do that, unfortunately. Does kind of suck, but you know, it is what it is. Right, okay, next up we have the monitors. So these are two Aorus CV27Q monitors. They're 1440p. They are curved, which kind of sucks in this situation, but you know, we have to deal as we go. Now these are 1440p, 165 hertz, but we never use the 165. It's kind of pointless. And yeah, I just don't see the need of, you know, 4K or anything like that. 1440, more than good enough for me, and the PS5 with the setup I have currently cannot actually run 4K throughout, so it doesn't matter on that front. And the PC, I mean, I don't want to do 4K gaming anyway, because then if I was to record it or stream it, it would take forever to edit. So yeah, we don't do 4K. Mic, we have the Shure SM7B. This is kind of a recent upgrade, probably 6 months ago, maybe, somewhere around that. Like, it's less than a year old, basically. And then we have the Go XLR for it as well, because it is an XLR mic. But before this, I was using the Audio-Technica AT2020, just a normal USB mic. I used that for, oh bloody hell, that must have been, the AT&T must have been used for like 6 years, 7 years, something like that. It's like, I got it in 2017, no, I got it in 2017, and I replaced it with this, so about 5 to 6 years, basically. If you are looking at starting YouTube or streams or anything like that, definitely suggest looking into the AT2020 or, like, you know, the Elgato Wave and stuff like that. Whatever you do, don't go for this. Okay, don't go for this. It sounds amazing, don't get me wrong. It sounds freaking amazing, but it is ridiculously, ridiculously expensive. Also, nice Primal mousepad that is incredibly covered up with kind of crap right now. Oh man, but yeah, so definitely don't go for that mic, especially if you're starting out. If you were getting, you know, if you were making YouTube videos or something like that and you were getting 100 or 200,000 views every video, then I would say go for that. But without that, definitely don't. Little micro HDMI cable. That is actually just so that I can connect the camera to the PC using a shorter cable rather than the big 10-meter cable I actually have. So like when I got this camera, I never actually went out of my way to buy a new cable. In fact, you might even be able to see it all fangled up. Yeah, there you go. That big spool right there, that's just a single micro HDMI cable for the camera. But I had that lying around, so I didn't bother buying a new cable when I got this camera, and it sucks, it gets in the way, so I bought a smaller cable that was nicely on offer, which is really, really nice. Okay, now let's talk about the big boy in the room. Oh yeah, secret lab chair. Do not get a secret lab, okay? Or if you do get a secret lab, just don't listen to, in fact, let me turn the camera around for this. If you are going to get a secret lab, do not use their size chart on their website, okay? So with their size chart, I needed the extra large version of their chair. This chair is too big for me, so all the ergonomical functions and stuff like that don't work properly. I should have got the size smaller than what they themselves actually told me to get, which freaking sucks because, you know, it was an expensive chair. But even though it's not fully ergonomical for me, it is still incredibly, incredibly comfy. And it lets me, you know, sit down and eat for 10 to 15 hours every single day, which is a bonus for what I do. Right, let's go on to the big boy, shall we? Now, this is something that I don't think I've ever really shown off, you know, and I know the angle's not the best right now. The lighting inside is also not the best. Unfortunately, the fans are kind of going as well, like the RGB on the fans is kind of going. Like, as you can see, there's a little pink dot there, and they should be white. They should be white. Like, when I first got the fans, the fans were colored the same as those RGB strips, but now they aren't. So it's like the colors faded as time's gone on, which kind of sucks, but nothing that we can really do about that. So what do we got for specs? Well, first of all, the CPU is a Ryzen 9 5950X. It's either Ryzen 7 or Ryzen 9. I can never remember with that. But it's a 5950X, 16 core, 32 thread CPU. Super handy for streaming and video creation and that. More cores, more threads equal happy days, pretty much. Then for the RAM, we've got 128 gigs of Corsair Dominator Platinum. That might sound super overkill to a lot of people, but you've got to think I do a lot of video rendering, a lot of, you know, like thumbnail work in Photoshop, a lot of streaming, and the Adobe package eats up RAM like there is no freaking tomorrow, okay? So even though that sounds like a lot, believe it or not, I pretty much always have like 70 to 80 gig of it in usage at pretty much all times, basically. So it's not super overkill. Then for the GPU, this is a MSI RTX 3090, and what is the version? It is the Trio, I want to say. Pretty sure it's the Trio. I can't remember off the top of my head. MSI Gaming X Trio. There we go. I got there in the end. The MSI Gaming X Trio 3090. It's the only one I could get at a realistic price, because I did get the, well, I did make this system last year or 2 years ago, somewhere around that. But it was sort of during the GPU scalping situation, and I wasn't going to pay a scalper, so I kind of settled. I kind of wish I got the Asus Strix 3090, but it is what it is. Power supply, I know you can't really see it or anything like that just yet. The power supply is a 1000 watt titanium from Seasonic. And then let's talk storage. So inside here we have two NVMe drives. One is a Samsung Pro 980, I think. You know what? Let's just pull File Manager up, shall we, so I can actually see. You'd think I'd know all this off the top of my head, pretty much. But yeah, so we have the Samsung 870 1 terabyte. That's just a general storage drive, pretty much. It's only, you know, kind of slow, but it's not super amazing or anything like that. The boot drive is the 980 Pro, so way faster. Super cool. Really helpful having such fast write speeds and read speeds when I'm, you know, working on videos and that. Then inside there we also have a WD Black 6 terabyte, which you can't really see, but it's sort of just down there. There's like a little hard drive cage down there under the shroud. So that's just a normal 6 terabyte hard drive. Don't even really use it anymore, which you'll see why in just a minute. And then I've also got a 2 terabyte Samsung Evo 860 SSD, which I just use as, you know, like a drive to record to and, you know, have games on and stuff like that. So yeah, we got that in there. And then we got the cam link on top. That's basically what connects the camera to the PC for, you know, streaming and stuff like that. That is the Elgato one. Whatever you do, for the love of God, don't buy that. It is a colossal waste of money. You can do the exact same thing for a fraction of the cost, just using some kind of like no name, no brand one. Because all it literally is, right, is it's just a HDMI to USB converter. That is literally all it is. And plus, let's be honest, most people aren't going to be needing this anyway, unless you're using a DSLR camera to stream. And if you are, chances are you can just use USB out anyway. So, you know, it kind of sucks I had to get that, but I had to get that for my old camera, which we'll take a look at now. TV for when I'm lounging in bed. I've only actually just recently, with doing all this like setup and that, I've only just recently actually set it up to the point where I can actually play games on this. Like normally this was just for watching stuff in bed sort of thing. But yeah, now I can actually play games on it thanks to another little splitter, which you can see right there. So what I basically do is I go from all the consoles, okay, and then all the consoles feed into that splitter right there. So what that does is then that allows me to, you know, sort of switch between any of the consoles at any time. I don't have to mess around with any of the wires or anything like that. It's not a super good one, just a 4K 60 Hz So, you know, even if I was doing like the PS5 from it, I wouldn't be able to play in 120 FPS or anything like that. Just a bog standard 4K 60Hz one, super handy, been using that for years, amazing purchase. Then that then goes into that splitter, which is a more recent purchase, which actually kind of sucks. I really should have gone for a slightly more expensive one, because that one is just giving me, you know, kind of a few issues. I have to keep restarting the Elgato and all that, so it actually picks the signal up. But then from there, we have one HDMI going into the TV over there, and then we have the other HDMI going into the Elgato, which you probably can't actually see that in there because it's so dark. But I've got the Elgato HD Pro in there. That's a PCIe card. And then there's also a 10 gig NIC for networking in there as well. Now 10 gig, super overkill for the vast majority of people, but I needed it for what I'm about to show you. So, let's take a look at that, shall we? Vroom. Okay, so here we have my industrial shelving unit in my freaking bedroom. Because, like I said, you know, space is a premium in the UK, unfortunately. Can I zoom this out anymore? No, I can't, unfortunately. I wonder. No, I can't zoom it out anymore. Sorry about that, guys. So, let's start from the bottom, shall we? So, down here, we have just kind of like useless junk, loads of wires and stuff like that. I've not actually sorted these out yet. So, this is a job that I'm going to be doing soon. I've got to take all these 3 boxes out, and then I've got a bunch under the bed as well. I've just got boxes everywhere, basically. So I need to pull them out and actually properly sort them all again. They were all sorted a few years ago, but since then, you know, if I have something that I need to throw away, it's just, I'll stick it in there, I'll stick it in there, you know. So I need to sort all that out. Also, little printy bag. I got that when NIS were kind enough to invite me to play Disgaea 7 at the media event the other month. Then, let's move up to the second shelf. So, second shelf, the RGB is new. This is something I've recently got to try and light up the shelves a little, because this is kind of my stream background, basically. So we do have that. Also, kind of ignore the remote and the dot and all that, and the power supply, well, the extension, because I actually use this shelf as part nightstand as well, like sort of from here. That's kind of just my nightstand pretty much. Then we have the lovely YouTube play button for 100,000 subscribers. If I zoom in a little. Okay, that's really not much zoom, but there you go. Primalliquid 92 for passing 100,000 subscribers. Thank you for that, guys. Like, I couldn't have done that without you guys. And then we just have like a little certificate as well from YouTube for it. What I want to do really is I want to get these framed in the same frame. I have found a custom frame maker, which, you know, we'll be going to speak to eventually. I just don't know when, but I'm going to get them framed side by side. And then the plan is to actually have the play button up on that wall. Because then whenever, you know, I'm working or anything like that, I can just look up, see the play button, and like, oh, my achievement, you know? So that's one of the things I want to do. Still some stuff over here that, you know, I need to get rid of and stuff like that. A couple of candles. I enjoy the smell. Don't at me. Hard drive. That's just what I used to use for backups. I haven't put that away or anything just yet. That's one of the things I need to do as well. We have the Professor from Futurama, Pop Funko figure. This was actually sent in to me by a viewer. That was the lovely Pbird that sent me that. Some old Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I don't really use them anymore. Used to play a lot, but then stopped playing around Synchro. Fire extinguisher, because with all the electronics in here, you can never be too careful. And then just a little toothbrush charging dock, because we don't have a plug in the bathroom for it. Then let's move on to the food shelf, shall we? And this is where some of the good stuff is. So right here we have the Octopath Traveler 2 hat. Square Enix actually sent this to me as a thank you for covering Octopath Traveler 2. So a big thank you to them. We have a map of the Octopath 2 world. Casual Canon printer, you know, obviously self-employed, lots of paperwork with all that, so need a printer. Just a bog standard Fire Stick, don't need that. I need to put that away or give it away or something. Don't use it. I originally got it for the TV. TV is a smart TV. It's got all the apps already built in, so wasted purchase pretty much. Then, oh yeah, Christmas card from Gemma. Let's just put that down there for a second. So we have the One Chip Challenge boxes. We got 4 of them. You can't buy these in singles, which sucks. I'm going to need these for the Wheel of Pain, which is happening on Saturday at 6 p.m. So, you know, if you're interested in that, Saturday, 6 p.m., 26th of August? Is it the 26th? Hang on. Let's see. Yeah, 26th of August. That's happening. So we'll be doing at least one of them on the 26th of August. The others, yeah, might make other people have them. I don't know. I haven't worked that part out yet. But yeah, so we'll be doing at least one of them. But as I say, you can't buy one of these. It was either buy 3 or buy 4. And given the price difference between the 3 and the 4, I figured, you know what, let's just buy 4 and then I can make someone else do it, can't I? Then we've got some of my limited edition stuff right here. So, are you gonna like focus? There we go. So we have the Agrest Generations of War limited edition Nintendo Switch version. This was sent to me by the lovely people at NIS as well. And then, sorry, not NIS, that was Axis Games. It's like you'd honestly think I would remember the names of everywhere. Whoopsie. But yeah, so I do love like Record of Agrest War. Super fun. I've had limited editions for every single version now. And yeah, like it's really cool. Then we have Octopath Traveler 2, still sealed. That's the Nintendo Switch version. The reason that it's still sealed is I was actually given a code by Square Enix to, you know, do like review stuff and all that sort of stuff for it. And then they did send me the full-blown limited edition as well. So obviously that came with the limited edition for it. Then we have the thank you box for Octopath Traveler 2, which, you know, had a bunch of the thank you stuff and all that in there as well, like the hat and the map, and then, you know, a bunch of other stuff too. Then we have Final Fantasy Fiat Rhythm Final Bar Line. This is a signed copy of the game. The disc has never left the box, like I've never took the disc out of the box or anything like that. This is probably one of the coolest things in the collection right now. So remember when I went to London to interview the developers? Yeah, they signed a copy of the game for me. How freaking cool is that, man? That is insanely awesome. And then we just have a Final Fantasy 16 notebook and Final Fantasy 16 pen. I got them from when I went London back in February for the first Final Fantasy 16 media tour. So yeah, like I'm hoping to build this up into a nice little collector's shelf, basically. You know, lots of limited editions and game merch and stuff like that. Then let's move on up to the next one. So we have the original Game Boy. Don't mind where it is right now. I'm kind of, well, if I just move that slowly, it's kind of wedged. But yeah, I was just using the original Game Boy to block all the lights from this, basically. So if I do it like sideways like that, it doesn't completely block. Like you still see a little bit of the blue there, which, you know, it kind of sucks, because then at night when I'm trying to go sleep, that entire wall is lit up like a freaking Christmas tree, unfortunately. But yeah, let's just put this down here. That was actually gotten for me by Gem. That was for my 30th birthday. That was last year. That is the original Game Boy, the Japanese version of the Game Boy, so the very first one like ever released in that. And I mean, the box has some damage, yeah, but all in all, it's still in pretty decent condition, and the Game Boy does work as well, which is freaking insanely cool. Like, I actually love that for sure. But yeah, so back up, we have the NAS. This is a Synology DS1821 Plus, so it's basically an 8-bay NAS. And of course it's got the extension. It's a little dusty. I should probably give that a clean, to be honest. But this now is what handles all of my storage, basically. Whenever I record or edit or anything like that, everything is stored on here. Currently in there are 6 drives. They are all Seagate Ironwolf Pro 20 terabyte drives. So huge amount of storage. However, 2 of them are used as redundancy. So what that means is if any of these like any of these 4 drives die, basically I don't lose any data because it's all backed up on these 2, pretty much. So I could lose 1 drive here and still be completely fine. I could lose 2 drives and be completely fine. But if I lose more than 2 drives, then I'm fucked, pretty much. So it's like, if a drive dies, I basically need to, you know, replace it sort of sooner rather than later, pretty much. I've also upgraded the RAM inside of the NAS. It only comes with, I think it comes with like 2 gigabits or something like that, which is not really a lot considering what I use it for. So I did upgrade the RAM inside it. There's now 32 gig in there. That way, you know, all my storage needs are met and all the Dockers that I run on that and stuff like that. Completely fine. I've got plenty of RAM for everything I do because I use this for a lot more than just storage. So the extra RAM, very handy. Also inside there, you probably can't see it, but also inside there is a 10 gigabit network card. That way I get super fast transfer speeds from this bad boy to the PC. I can transfer things at up to a gigabit with a 10 gig card. So that's why there's a 10 gig card in there and a 10 gig card in the PC. Because, hey, moving video files around takes a lot of time, okay? So the extra bandwidth speed on that is super handy. Then we have my laptop on top. I originally got this for, you know, like going events and stuff like that. Now I mostly use it, one, when I go events, like if I'm in a hotel or anything like that, you know, I can always just go on there and do stuff. Other than that, I use it for a lot of, you know, like streaming away from home. Like if I stream at Gems when we do drinking streams and stuff like that, I'll take this bad boy. Spec-wise, I want to say off the top of my head, it is a 2070 GPU and a 10750 CPU. I can't completely remember that, and I think it's like 16 gig RAM, pretty much. Then over here, we've got games at the back. I know you can't see them all, like they're all blocks and that, but yeah, all games at the back. A bunch of PS3, PS4, PS5 stuff, some Switch games and all stuff like that. Even like back in the day when you used to get discs sent to you for review purposes, this is the review disc for Rage 2. Anyone remember that game? Like this is back when you weren't given codes for review games, you were sent things out. I still don't even know how I ended up with that. I got that when I had like 700 subs. Like I have absolutely no idea how I got that, but yeah, I managed to get it. Then we just have some manga. So Rosario to Vampire, not complete. I've only got the first 6 editions for that. We have High School Prodigies Have It Easy, Even in Another World. I kind of messed up here, okay? So I wasn't paying attention when I was buying the stuff. So for the actual manga, I've got 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 when it comes to the volumes. Because 2 and 3, I screwed up. I picked up the light novel version instead of the manga version. So, yeah, I screwed up there. And then we also have Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagato manga as well. I really want to get like a manga collection really built up, to be honest. And I'm slowly but surely getting there as well. Then, let's look at the actual messy part, shall we? So this is the camera shelf and networking shelf. Yeah, this is the camera shelf. So let's start here first, shall we? So this is a 16mm 1.4. Okay, so this is for, you know, like kind of really zoomed out footage where I need a lot more light in the shot. So if I was doing like a horror game or something like that, I would probably use this lens, and then it also makes the background really blurry. So it gives you a really nice bokeh effect, pretty much. This one right here is a lens I got for interviews. This is a 28 by 70mm. The aperture is f2.8. So that's a really good interview lens, you know, from 28mm all the way up to 70. Super good. I actually use that for streaming quite a lot now, to be honest. Just because with the new desk, the camera holder is quite a lot further away, you know, so I need that little bit of extra zoom, basically. But that, if I'm interviewing anyone or anything like that, 9 times out of 10, that is the lens I will use. Then we have a 30mm f1.4 lens. That will probably be what I use to play horror games now, just because I need the extra distance, basically. And again, super blurry backgrounds. This is just a 16 to 50mm lens. This actually came with the camera. I use the Sony ZV-E10. Super good camera, actually. Like, if you are sort of an established vlogger or streamer, this is an amazing vlog and streaming camera. But again, you know, it's like 600 quid for the camera body, and then you have to buy the lenses separate. So do keep that in mind. If you're only just starting out or you're still kind of small, use a webcam. Then we move on to my old camera. So the very first time I started streaming, I was originally using a webcam, but then eventually I upgraded to a DSLR. So this is the Canon M50 Mark I. Sorry, the Canon EOS M50 Mark I. So this is the original M50. It's not amazing, if I'm perfectly honest. It doesn't have clean HDMI out, which freaking sucks for streaming, because then you have, you know, like all the camera information on there and that. So that is terrible. We have to, like, if I was to stream with this, I have to actually connect it up via USB, and then the image quality is not really that amazing. It does not charge via USB, so if you want to use it for a long period of time, you have to plug it in with a fake battery, basically, which, you know, the only way to get them is cheap Chinese knockoff ones. And if you were trying to record a video on it, as soon as you hit 29 minutes and 59 seconds, the video stops recording, because Canon decided that was just something their cameras needed to do, which kind of sucks. And then we have, you know, another 16mm f1.4 lens for the Canon. That's just for what I used to use when streaming with it. So I had the nice clean image quality and that. At the back, we don't really have anything too fancy or amazing. It's just some like camera stands and that, like a Joby holder. You know, just something to use with vlogging and stuff like that. Now, let's take a look at this, shall we? So this is kind of the brain of everything, pretty much. So on top, we have a QNAP 10 gigabit switch. So it's got two 10 gig ports, and then it's got four 2.5 gig ports. This is basically where the internet goes into. So from the actual internet hub over there, that goes into that in a 2.5 gig port. Just because I don't have more than 2.5 gig internet speeds, so 2.5 gig is fine. The 10 gig port goes to the PC behind me, and one into the NAS, just so they have, you know, flawless connectivity in that. And then the other 2.5 gig port goes into the bottom switch. This is just a bog standard TP-Link switch. It's just 24 port gigabit. Obviously, a lot of the ports are empty right now. One of those is going to the PS5. The other is, I want to say the PS4. No, sorry, the other is the TV. And then this white one now goes all the way up and out the room, downstairs into the 24/7 streaming PC, as that is 2 floors down, basically. So that's a really long wire. But yeah, remember when I did the networking video where I was actually setting all of that up? Well, remember how I taped the wires to the ceiling? It didn't work. They all fell. In fact, if you look right there, you can actually see, well, if I just move past the lights, there we go. You can actually see where the tape actually peeled off the wall and took a bunch of the paint with it, unfortunately. So I had to come up with another solution. And the solution I came up with was actually a really jank one, but it worked, and that's what matters. Okay, so I got some of these. Actually, I might have one. Do I have any out here? No, I think they're still downstairs. Never mind. But basically, what it is, it's like little sticky tabs, like little double-sided tape. You stick it on the ceiling or walls or anything like that, and then it's got like a small little grip tie sort of built into it. And they are actually freaking amazing. Like, they actually came with my desk. I tried them for that, and yeah, like I immediately went on Amazon and bought a big bag of them, because they are freaking good, okay? They are really strong. But that's basically just so I can get networking from the router over here, and then from over here, back over this side for the PC, and then I do it again for, you know, like the PS5 wire, which is going over there down to the PS5, and then also with the big long Ethernet cable that's going down to the 24/7 stream PC. But yeah, that, guys, is the room. And you know what? Let's just take a sit down now, because I've been standing for like 35 minutes. But yeah, so that right there is the stream room. Oh, I actually forgot about this as well. Well, we saved the best till last, I guess. This is a full custom leather print of Yuna from Final Fantasy X. Let me actually see if I can straighten it out a little for you guys. I know it's a little bent right now. It's basically because of the hook and that, where it is. Yeah, so this is a full custom leatherwork print that was sent to me by a lovely viewer called Dart. This was fully handmade, that was. So that is actually freaking insane. I actually really love that. So if you're watching, Dart, thank you for like the millionth time, buddy. That is actually something I'm going to get framed as well. I'm going to get that framed, and I'm going to get it up on the wall, basically right next to the play button, because I actually think it looks freaking sick. Or maybe I could get it framed and then stick it on the shelf. I don't know. I don't know if I actually have enough room on the shelf, so maybe down on this one. We'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, I'm gonna get that framed and have that somewhere as well, because I think it's awesome. But yeah, I think that about covers my my setup. I don't think I've missed anything out. But obviously, you know, if you guys want any more details about anything you've seen in this video, or maybe you want to offer suggestions, you know, things that would make my life easier, cleaner, or just anything in general, you know, let me know down below in the comment section. As always, everybody, thanks for watching. Smash that like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.